Musa Dankwa, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We have just received this document. Mr. Musa Dankwa, are you there?
We just released this morning.
Yes.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So we have just received this. I've tried to read just a few of the paragraphs which stand out for me. But can you give us an overview of this report?
Right. This is a telephone poll that was carried out on the 4th November and 8th November.
Okay.
We sampled about 2,586 voters across all the 16 regions, of which 35% of the sample were NPP, 33% were NDC, 18% were floating voters, other parties 3%, and 11% did not tell us their party affiliation. Now, if you look at the numbers we have checked out, the key highlights in the poll suggest that about 62% of voters believe Ghana is headed in the wrong direction. 27% said right direction, and 11% did not have an opinion. If you look at the approval of the president, 28% approve and 65% disapprove. And then if you look at people who are saying that the government has done well, it is 31%. Those who say average is 15%, but 49% said they've done poorly or very poor. Now, on the question of the economy and how they've been impacted, 28% of them said that it's gotten better compared to the last 12 months. But 21% said it's the same, nothing has changed for them. But 51% said it's gotten worse. So you can see that the economy continues to drag, and then also the view by Ghanaians as to where the country is headed is also looking very grim indeed.
All right. Now, this is a telephone poll.
Yes.
And I'm just looking at some of the numbers that you've churned out. Can you tell us what the methodology was, just so we understand? The sample size was 2,543. Is that correct?
In 2,586 were called, but 2,543 actually ended the survey end to end completion rate. That's about 98.3%.
All right.
Now the calls were placed randomly into a pool that has MPP voters, NDC voters, floating voters, other parties, and those who don't disclose their party affiliation nationwide. And then those numbers were called randomly from the system. The margin of error for this survey is 1.9%, plus or minus.
Okay. Okay. And the conclusion of the survey is that John Dramani Mahama is on course to win the elections without a runoff.
Yes. If you look at the people who are going to vote, who are committed to vote, Mahama leads with 52%, Bawumia 41.3%, Alan 2.3%, Bediako 4.1%, and others 0.4%. Now, if you look at the party affiliation of these voters and how they are voting, you realize that among people who say they are MPP openly, 3% intend to vote for Mahama, 95% intend to vote for Bawumia, 1% for Alan, and 1% for Bediako. But for those who say they are NDC, 98% are voting for Mahama, 1% will vote for Bawumia, and another 1% would vote for Bediako. But crucially, among the floating voters, Mahama has taken a significant lead with 69% of support among the floating voters. Bawumia is down to 11%, Alan 6%, and Bediako 13%. So you can see that Bediako is now doing better among floating voters than any of the candidates other than John Mahama.
The summary also cites Alan Kyerematen as the biggest gainer in this poll.
Yes, because if you look at the changes between the period, Alan Kyerematen over the period went up nearly 1%, 0.8%, while Mahama dropped 0.7% over the last week. Bawumia gained 0.3%. Bediako lost 0.1% and others lost 0.3%, but Alan gained 0.8%. That's quite huge.
Yes, that's quite a number. Is there a percentage of undecided voters, people who have still not made up their minds?
Yes, the numbers suggest that about 13.4% said they are yet to make their mind.
All right.
Now, if you look at those who said they had to make their mind, most of them are floating voters. So
Okay.
if they do vote, if they do decide to vote on the day or when they decide, we believe they will decide around 70% for Mahama, and that would put him way ahead. So what we are showing now is a very worst case for Mahama. He could do much more than what we are telling in the polls.
What you are giving us today is the worst case scenario for Mahama.
We believe it is his flaw.
All right.
Yes.
Do you anticipate, or do you think that voters might change their minds before December 7th? And what are some of the things that can lead to this change of mind?
Look, let's look at those who said they might change their mind. Only 7% of voters say they are likely to change their minds. 82% said no, they blocked their vote, and 11% are neutral. So technically, if you look at it, only 18% may be available, but for sure, only 7%. I mean, this 7% cannot change anything. We believe the race is locked, and the person who leads in the poll will win the elections.
You sound
in terms
very
of what
sure.
might change, no, we've seen quite a lot of data. I mean, we have seen what you have seen, and look, among those who say that they are undecided, about 70% or more are saying that their living condition has worsened in the last 12 months. If somebody says it's undecided, but in the last 12 months, his condition has worsened, how do you think he will vote?
All right. All right. I'm going to ask you a final question, which actually has come in from a viewer who wants to find out from you. He says, now, please ask him, when they are sampling their people, do they consider their party affiliations? How do they decide who they should call? And compared to the past elections, how different is this data? What have you noticed?
All right. We have, over the last 2 years, gathered random interview in the field. And we've come to the conclusion that for those who say they are NPP, they are about 35% average. Those who say they are NDC, 33%. Floating voters about 18 to 19%. 3% other parties, and 11% are about telling us which party they support. So we believe these are the averages. So we have data of phone numbers of those who say they are NPP, those who say they are ND. So we draw the sample based on the average party affiliation nationally, and we call that number.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Musa Dankwa. How do you respond to first this poll and some of the submissions that have been made by Kofi?
Yeah, no, first permit me to say good morning to one Ghanaian who has gone on retirement, served his country so well, one Mr. Francis Ahiachi in the GRA in Ho. You see, when it comes to polls, the basic principle underlining why polls are conducted is to give us a bird's eye view of what may happen in the future. It may not necessarily be accurate. And therefore, I want to reiterate again that I find some submissions to be that of persons who are partially educated. Because when Mr. Musa Dankwa is saying is that, look, I have reached out to some people. He has not reached out to all the 18 million Ghanaians. In fact, even if he reached out to all the 18 million voters, some may tell him lies. Some may not even tell him the truth. Some may abstain. But you see, in the NDC, we would always have to say we welcome such things. It does not mean that all our work and effort will be based on the poll. Because you will need to put in your own strategy, and which would inform the decisions you are making, the steps you are taking, in order to also guide you. So when polls come in, it's also just it's an added value to what you are working towards. A poll may come and even be in favor of the NDC, but the NDC may still say, no, we disagree. Maybe he says NDC is winning with 52%. We may say, no, per our own checks, we're expecting to win by 53%. But when you have people think that once it doesn't favor us, we must destroy it at all, and then destroy the credibility of the person in charge, and consistently rather keep mentioning one other name, which is also another very discredited character, then what exactly are we doing? And you see, just before entering your studio here, on the sister station's platform, it's been revealed that even the office of the president also has done some research, and according to them, there will be a runoff, and Alhaji Bawumia is going to win the runoff. When a party in power is beginning to tell you that there's going to be a runoff, that is a signal to tell you that they have lost hope. They have seen every signal that they have lost, and therefore let us find a way to make it look the other way. Because look, if you're a party in power, you are in government, and you've done that well. Look at the record of the NPP as well from the 2016 election down. Currently, as we speak, what is the numbers in even the legislature? If you have done that well, why have the people not reposed that confidence, or why has it not translated into even your members of parliament? But it's been 137, and this, even we all know the circumstances that resulted in all of this. So you see, when polls are conducted, it serves as a guide. You're supposed to say, okay, when this is done, this is what it means. And he has stated clearly the mode he used to conduct this his poll. And I am very worried. And don't forget that even one of the other concerns, in addition to the economy, which focuses on food, jobs, education, and health, is our judiciary. The Mo Ibrahim Foundation also conducted a research that showed us that from 2017 till date, the judiciary has lost its confidence, has lost its reputation by 30%. That is an indictment, and it lays credence to what Kandapa said some time back, that some of the verdicts that our judges have been giving out were so suspicious. We are also in this country, and we saw some of the exposés done by Anas, where judges were as expensive or as cheap as just a mere goat. And so when all these things are going on, you do not want to be a hypocrite, to cherry pick as and when it favors you, and when it doesn't, then you say, oh, there's another one there that looks well. We would even welcome that of Dr. Smart Sapon and look into it and say what exactly is credible, what is sensible he's saying in there. Let's see what makes sense to us, what doesn't make sense, what is logical, what is seen to be more politically affiliated than the other. Then it guides you. But if you think that you want to just rubbish everything, well, the truth is that characters surrounding the vice president and the flag bearer of the NPP are the ones who are sinking his campaign most, because even though he is not even helping himself.
Which characters are you talking about?
The very people who speak for the flag bearer, the people who speak for the NPP, they are not even speaking the truth. They are not speaking the truth to him. And then he has a running mate who is supposed to also be up there. But you've listened to the running mate's utterances every now and then. Each time he speaks, it seems Alhaji Bawumia will make an effort to recruit 10 voters who assure him of voting for him. The running mate goes to speak, and then he takes away 4 of the people who now repel that they will not vote again. Then the spokesperson also come again, and they make it look like no.
Where are you getting these numbers from?
No, I'm just giving you an example of things that is happening, and it's so scary. But I belong to the NDC, and I should be happy over that, and I'm very happy over that, because the way they are going about the conduct of their campaign and all of that, this is the first time in history a party is in power, and people are saying that, look, if you are saying that you do A, B, C, I am asking you that you are in power. You are the head of the economic management team. The Ghanaian is unemployed and has not gotten any job. Therefore, he has resorted to betting. Now, when he bets and he loses, it is his cost. When he wins, you are saying you are charging him 10%. When he wins and you charge that 10%, and his mother calls him and say, oh, I am not well, send me some money for my medical bill, you will charge e-levy on that same amount. After that, if you withdraw your money to go and effect some payment somewhere, you will be charged a very senseless COVID-19 levy. As if that is not even enough. If actually your father is a driver, or the person is even a driver and had to also drive his vehicle from another point to the other, he will have to be paying emission tax. And the Ghanaian is telling you that, Alhaji Bawumia, the president once said that you have all the wisdom in this world. You are the economic messiah, the economic whiskey. Remove these tax now if it is something you agree that you are not in favor of. And this has been why they've been going on merry-go-round all this while. Because if you want to do something, you must lead by example. Show the way. Let us see you exemplifying what you claim you will do. But you come and be promising different things around the very things that are worrying Ghanaians. The Ghanaian on the street there is struggling to survive. How much is a bowl of cake? If you want to buy tomatoes, how much does it cost? How much does it cost you to prepare soup at home? And how long will it last at home? Marriages are even breaking as a result of this. Then you hear them every day wanting to talk doomsday, free SHS, etc. What exactly has been your solutions? Tell us what the problems are. Are these the bold solutions? And it is very worrying. So when you have comments that is just aimed at rubbishing polls, I am sure and I am sorry, but that is an act of people who are partially educated.
All right. Now